Before we dive into the hidden world of improvised weapons that changed battles, I want you to hit subscribe and drop a comment below if you're as fascinated by military history as I am. This is the kind of content that serious history buffs and survival enthusiasts return to again and again. Today, we're going beyond standard rifles and tanks. We're uncovering the weapons that soldiers and civilians built in desperation, innovation, and sheer necessity. These are the devices that weren't in manuals, weren't supplied by factories, yet played decisive roles in skirmishes, sabotage, and survival. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Second World War was the ability of soldiers to transform everyday materials into deadly tools. With supply lines cut and industrial resources stretched thin, both Allied and Axis forces were forced to improvise. Civilians, resistance fighters, and frontline soldiers learned to turn the impossible into tactical advantage. From tin cans and scrap metal to bicycles and railways, ingenuity became a weapon itself. Understanding this can provide modern survivalists and enthusiasts with critical lessons in resourcefulness, adaptability, and quick thinking under pressure. Take the British Home Guard, for example. With official arms limited, they developed devices like the sticky bomb, a grenade with an adhesive surface designed to cling to tanks. It was built using metal, glass, and a simple chemical detonator. The genius wasn't in its lethality alone, but in its accessibility. Any citizen familiar with basic mechanics could learn the principles and replicate them under controlled, safe circumstances for educational demonstrations. For survivalists, this teaches a key principle. When resources are limited, combining chemistry and mechanics with common items can create functional solutions, even for non-combat applications like securing supplies or signaling. Across Europe, resistance fighters demonstrated unparalleled creativity. The French Maquis and Polish underground forces regularly used improvised explosives to derail trains or destroy bridges. One of the most ingenious devices was the coal mine explosive. Ordinary coal, stuffed with gunpowder and a timed fuse, placed in railway lines to destroy enemy logistics without detection. For modern enthusiasts, understanding the mechanics of these devices isn't about replication, it's about learning adaptive thinking. Consider the principle camouflage, an action within ordinary activity. In survival scenarios, whether in urban or wilderness environments, blending essential tools into everyday objects can protect resources or send signals covertly. For instance, a water container could double as a flotation aid or even a concealed storage for critical supplies. WWII taught that functionality and deception often went hand in hand. The ingenuity displayed in POW camps is another testament to human resourcefulness. Prisoners often had access to almost nothing, yet they created tools to escape, communicate, and sometimes resist guards. One example is the improvised saw made from bed frames and tin from ration cans. These saws were essential for cutting through wood, bars, or other materials to aid escapes. For anyone studying survival or wartime improvisation, the takeaway is this. Even the most limited resources can be transformed if you understand the basic properties of materials. Metal can be sharpened, softened, or folded to perform entirely new functions. Wood can be split, shaped, and reinforced to serve as levers or structural supports. Learning these techniques in controlled, safe environments builds skills that are directly applicable to both historical understanding and modern preparedness. Improvised weapons weren't only about direct confrontation, they were strategic tools. Booby traps, often crafted from explosives, sharpened stakes or tripwires, turned entire areas into defensive strongholds with minimal manpower. The German Wehrmacht and Soviet partisans both used improvised anti-personnel devices that could halt enemy advances or protect retreating units. For practical application today, think about risk management in survival contexts. Creating layers of defense using basic tools like tripwires with bells or mechanical warning systems can alert you to intruders without requiring lethal force. WWII demonstrated that understanding terrain, psychology and timing was as critical as the weapon itself. The improvisation lay in integrating mechanics, observation, and deception. In addition to small devices, entire vehicles were converted into weapons. Armoured cars were often fabricated by welding scrap metal onto civilian trucks, while bicycles and motorcycles carried hidden weapons, explosives, or message capsules. Resistance fighters frequently modified motorcycles to deploy grenades or carry supplies undetected. You know, from a modern survival perspective, this really shows the importance of adaptability. Vehicles, tools and structures in your environment can absolutely be repurposed. For example, a civilian truck could become a mobile supply station. And, well, bicycles can actually carry loads efficiently in both urban or wilderness environments. Recognizing opportunities in existing assets is a direct lesson from World War II improvisation. While, at first glance, some of these devices might seem small, their impact was often massive. Just a few well-placed explosives could delay entire enemy battalions. A disguised weapon could infiltrate a strategic point, and, honestly, an improvised signaling device could coordinate multi-unit attacks. These instances really highlight a fundamental lesson. Creativity and application of knowledge often outweigh raw firepower. For history enthusiasts and survivalists alike, studying these weapons provides insight into strategy and problem-solving under extreme conditions. You can analyze patterns, anticipate limitations, and, well, learn how seemingly simple innovations change outcomes. Applying this mindset to modern survival scenarios, be it wilderness, urban or historical reenactment, can save time, resources, and even lives. Understanding these forgotten weapons isn't just academic. Honestly, it's a study in resourcefulness, patience, and lateral thinking. From POW ingenuity to home guard inventions, every device tells a story of human creativity under pressure. For anyone preparing for survival, or anyone studying military history, these lessons emphasize adaptability, innovation, and the practical use of everyday materials. If you want to explore the extraordinary side of wartime ingenuity and learn techniques that could enhance your historical knowledge or survival skills, this is a domain worth mastering. Every improvised weapon teaches a principle that extends beyond its immediate function. Observation, experimentation, and strategic thinking. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe and comment below about which improvised weapon amazed you the most. Sharing this knowledge keeps the history alive and, inspires the next generation of survivalists and historians.